Man Sharpens Man. It's Man Sharpens Man. Charlie's sharpening us up in the beats. Look at that. Charlie's sick on the ones and twos, isn't he, Jason?
Yeah, he's tearing it up.
I told you. He's treating that like it's a piece of ass. Tear that ass up, Charlie. He's got an assistant or something. I don't know what these noises are.
Can't help but get groovy with
I
this.
feel like he would be a good morning show. Like he could be making like weird fart noises. Hey, Charlie in the morning. Charlie in the morning. You're tuned in to Charlie in the morning. He'd make a good host, a good radio host. They don't have much of that shit going on no more. That's a lot of moan.
Sounds like a great soundtrack to like Mortal Kombat too. You know?
That is kind of a Mortal Kombat soundtrack. That's like a good job, Blues Brother.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Blues Traveler, whichever one you want to be.
Yeah, I actually have the same exact keyboard. So I've been rehearsing that for years.
Oh, nice.
That's weird. Do you think that when I poke my keyboard, yours feels it?
Yep.
Like it's a voodoo keyboard, like a.
It's the same exact keyboard, yeah, except yours has batteries, mine has a wire.
It's a Yamaha keyboard. I thought they only made snowmobiles.
The only difference is the power source.
I thought that was weird too. When I got it from a garage sale. I think they might have tricked me into buying it because they wrote $90 on the thing here.
Yeah.
And then there was a price tag on it that said $25, and I thought, boy, they had trouble selling it for $90, so they went ahead and changed it to $25, and I bought it and I brought it home. And then I Google Wikipedia'd it, and the motherfucker sells brand new for like $1.40 or something. So like I feel like they got me a little. They should have been
20. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, 25, 10.
When I run a garage sale, what kind of dude are you, Jason? When you run a garage sale, how are you pricing your shit?
Oh, I price high. And
yeah, you got to make money.
You got to negotiate, you know?
Right, I'm too lazy.
You got to
negotiate.
I want to close by noon, and I'm like, I'm broke too, which is ironic.
Yeah, there's that.
That's probably why, Jason Allen. I feel like my laziness and my brokenness might have a correlation now that I'm talking out loud.
See, I've never had a garage sale though myself. I'm just a hoarder.
I high aspirations.
I still have the same. I still have blue jeans in a box somewhere from high school.
It's like my terrible joke I'm still working on. The pyramids were built by hoarding.
Yeah.
You're an Egyptian, man.
Right.
You got Egyptian in your DNA.
Yeah.
Did you know your memories are transferred through your DNA? They're starting to find out. You got memories in your DNA, Jason Allen.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know if it is either. I don't want to remember stuff your ancestors did. What if one of your ancestors was
so
the guy
it's
that
passed
Jesus?
down?
Yeah, your memories are.
So that's almost a past life kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's
a
crazy.
small part of that.
See, I don't remember a lot of my childhood, so maybe that could unlock some stuff.
I don't remember my childhood, but I remember my grandparents' childhood.
Oh, you guys want to hear about the time I got molested in my childhood?
I'm kidding.
The Me Too movement. I mean, it's not gross. It's actually kind of fun, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't molesting. Like, it fits the law as molesting.
Yeah.
But for me at the time, no one would have ever known about this. And unfortunately, let me tell you the story. Look, my mom and dad had to go pick my uncle up. He was a truck driver.
Yeah.
They had to go pick him up from Ohio or someplace way up north. And we lived in Texas. And I was like 11, 12. They would leave me alone a lot, but I was not quite old enough to be alone for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So they got the 16, 17-year-old kind of butterfaced neighbor girl to agree to babysit me.
All right.
And we were hanging out, and she put some Karate Kid movie in, and we were watching it, and it's kind of a little romantic movie, and it must have got her estrogens rising or something like that. Oh, for sure. And so she.
Little Johnny Hall.
Oh, yeah. And so there's a hand-holding scene.
Uh-huh.
People hold hands. You want to hold hands from me? You know what I mean? Where you interlace fingers. We didn't hold hands for the record.
Okay.
But, that kind of thing, the sexy hand-holding, the boyfriend and girlfriend.
Romantical,
Well, when you're 10 or 11, you haven't experienced a hand-hold yet, and even that is quite an erotic experience.
Sweaty.
There's electricity between the palms.
Get a little.
You remember.
Get a little aroused. That feeling.
You remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what she was showing me the thing.
Yeah.
That's what she does. She does the hand. Well, you want to learn how to do that? And I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah.
So I've, well, later, all of a sudden, the movie gets a little deeper. They don't do anything sexy, but the movie goes off and it's bedtime. And she asked, hey, you want to sleep in the living room? And I said, fuck yeah, let's make a fort, or whatever. You know how you are when you're a kid.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out, and I kind of fall asleep. And when I wake up, she's laying beside me, and she's putting my hand on her boob.
Oh.
So you want to know what a smooth player I was? I just flipped her over and just bet. No, that would be a sweet. Like, that's the shit the rappers try. Like, Lil Wayne tries to talk you into that shit. Like, there's nothing like, it's way more pathetic. Like, it's
yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do at 11. But kids nowadays, they know all
There's
sorts of
porn
stuff.
access.
Like,
There's too much porn access.
Like modern day 11-year-old Johnny Hall.
If there was an 11-year-old now, there would have been terrible. I'd probably be a father of someone almost my age right now.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, here's my son that's 9 years younger than I am. We go to the same school. He's in the 9th and I'm in the 12th. or whatever. But anyhow, I wake up with my hand on her boob, and like I said, this is not my proudest moment.
Like over the shirt or under the shirt?
Under. She has done slid it in there, and I can feel a firm nipple, and I've never felt a boob in my life.
Yeah.
So being the smooth player I am, I play like I'm asleep still. I just stay asleep because I figure the longer she thinks she's getting away with it, the more she's going to let me touch her boob. So I was kind of a smart little kid, and I just I just kept my eyes closed and pretended like I was asleep, so I didn't even get to see a boob, but I had to rub it quite a bit. But then for some reason, my hand came to life, though, and I did do some rubbing and pinching on the nipple, but from a sleepy way. Like I was sleep squeezing, you know, she knew it.
Squeezing.
Yeah, I tried to keep it. I tried to keep it where she felt unguilty about it, and she eventually roamed my hand to a couple different spots, and I made third base down low, and I even felt a little entry of the pinky or something.
Ooh.
Yep. So yeah, that happened, and it was cool. She guided my every move, and I remained pretending like I was asleep. See how smooth I am?
Yeah.
That's how my wife gets it now. That's how we do it. Like I got a fetish.
Like
That's how she wants. No,
like, yeah,
that'd be terrible. They
say
that people that get molested like carry it on or some shit. Like I don't carry nothing on. But anyhow, it would be funny if I had that weird little fetish where it's like, all right, wife, I'm gonna pretend like I'm asleep. You're gonna have to do everything. I mean, I might do a couple things, but I gotta pretend like I'm sleep fucking for it to make. That'd be terrible. We never do it. We've never done. But,
I mean,
I'm getting an idea.
Yeah,
like we might
try it out. You never know.
There it is.
Try it
It's
out.
See, I should be a fucking sex counselor.
Yeah. You try that armpit out?
But you want? No,
We talked about it yesterday.
God dang it, I'm forgetful.
We talked about hairy armpits yesterday.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have sex with a hairy armpit, but I don't really want to have sex with an armpit. I'm just wondering, like, is that a thing?
It's the bits.
Yeah, I bet it is bits.
I think it is a thing. I have to think it. People like the foot. Charlie told me he had a kid in school whose feet smelled like weed every time he smoked weed, and so the guy would want him to sniff the shoe.
You'd pay, and you'd pay him
to
do it.
Yeah.
To sniff
People
it.
would pay him to sniff the shoe.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to clarify it too. Yep, that's exactly what happens.
It's kind of like glue. If you huff it, you get high.
Yeah, it's
just
a
like
cool
weed.
thing. Back in
So
school,
everybody huffed his shoes?
Cheaper weed. Yeah.
And you know what? I came up with a little conspiracy theory since the show that me and him talked about that. This is my conspiracy theory, Charlie. I think he was scenting his socks because he was freaky and he wanted to make people think that they smell like weed, so he wanted to sniff them. And then when they were sniffing him, he was just sitting back with just like rock hard nipples.
Or maybe he just wanted to make a few bucks.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he just wanted to make a few bucks.
People had fetishes like this?
Yes.
I don't think they had as much time for it.
I mean, this is
No, I
before
think
the
they did.
internet and all that. I'm talking like Renaissance days. You think there was like?
Yes, I think they
You
did.
think so?
Yeah.
You know what my fetish would have been if I was
Like King
back then?
James the third was.
Yeah, how
Clean
could they
bitch.
not?
I think there would probably be just like, I need me a clean woman. This is terrible. You'd be gross too, though. You wouldn't even know.
There definitely wasn't a description for it, probably, or any study into it. But there had to have been things.
Oh man, there's some
back
weird
in the
shit.
day.
I just listened to a mysterious universe where they were talking about sexual rituals in different tribes and different cultures.
Right.
There's this one like Indonesian culture where like they don't encourage it, but it's like culturally accepted to like sneak into other people's tents and like bang their wives, and they live in these big family units. So like the mom and the dad and the husband and all those are going to be in the tent. They all sleep separately from each other, so you can like sneak to the woman, but you got to try to not wake the family up. And I guess apparently what you're supposed to do is you strip naked, you oil yourself up with some kind of like lotiony oil that stays on you like baby oil, sneak in, wake the girl up, and bang her. And then what they say is when she climaxes, she starts to woo woo woo, and then that wakes the family up lots of times. So that's what the oil comes in play for. So now the guy has to make it out of the big hut, but he's got like grandma trying to tackle him and dad trying to tackle him because they don't want him in there. Like it's encouraged to sneak in, but it's also encouraged to try to capture him and beat him up.
The things people do without cable, you know.
Like you should see how cats
It's
breed.
crazy. How cats breed?
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. They like rape each other. It's like, how did this? What kind of Darwinian shit was going on that there's such a rape culture in the cat world?
I didn't realize.
You know,
or just the animal world
you know
in
that
general.
rape culture is a world right
when
now.
there's
A lot of
no
feminists say that,
civilization.
like, it's like a thing. They're like rape culture. Have you heard that word?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a thing. I don't study enough culture-y shit to know, but it seems a little overboard. I don't feel like I was taught rape at any point in my life. I don't think rape was ever glorified. I don't feel like we live in a rape culture.
I mean, MTV fucked us all up a little bit, but
yeah, a lot of it sometimes, but not too bad.
Jersey Shore.
I seen a feminist on CNBC today. She said what was it, the Pyrex ceiling or something like that. I'm like, it's the glass ceiling, but she tried to make it sound like it was like unbreakable. She called it like the cellulite ceiling. I thought, What's a unbreakable glass? You know about building shit. What's that plasticky glass called?
The plastic
It
glass.
starts with a C. It's like
I don't know.
Plexiglass.
I know what you're talking about.
Not plexiglass. What's another word for plexiglass?
Bulletproof glass.
Yeah, that's basically what she's like. She's like the plexiglass ceiling, but she used the big science word that I can't remember. And I'm like, you're talking over everyone's head. No one's gonna know what kind of glass that is.
Right.
She was just trying to like point out the glass ceiling wasn't breakable, and I was like, that's.
Or just point out a use of a big word.
Trying maybe, yeah. And now I can't think of it because I'm half retarded. I was just telling Charlie that early. My road is closed to one-way traffic. Did you notice that?
Yeah, you had to take a detour to get here.
You didn't enjoy that, did you?
No, it was fucking weird.
I was trying to think of a way to describe it to you.
What happened?
I couldn't describe it. I don't know what they're doing out there. I don't
Just
know.
lots
if
of
they got a tip on
traffic
Jimmy
cones
Hoffa
out
or
there.
what.
No, I heard like a semi.
No,
Jacked
this was
up or
no,
something?
it's not what happened. Like that's
Oh.
a rumor because they gave us the road commission guy showed up at our house like 2 or 3 days ago before this started with like a flyer
Before
and
the
dropped
storm?
it off, yeah, and said, hey, we're going to be closing down a lane and doing construction. And in my brain, I'm thinking, dude, it's like -20 outside with snow asshole deep. What are you constructing, man? This is the worst time of
Yeah.
year for that. But apparently they're constructing something. So,
Yeah, holy crap! You guys got like 2 feet of snow.
oh yeah, we got
Yeah.
dumped on up here. You
In
should've-
Cadillac, we got like a dusting.
Man,
Like, hardly
it was
anything.
killing us up here. We were just non-stop. The roads are still bad. It was bad.
Wow.
They were calling it snowpocalypse and corny shit like that.
I know. That's exciting stuff, though. You
Yeah,
know.
it was.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff. I
It-
missed out on this one.
It is weird. I was out working on my car right before the storm hit, and it was snowing a little bit. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I kind of like when it snows. Like,
Yeah.
you hate it at first, but then it grows back on you.
I like it. It looks good.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really like, and this is something I've noticed, is like right before it snows in Michigan, the days have gotten so short that it's dark by 5 o'clock basically. And because there's no snow on the ground, it's like pitch black outside.
Right.
But once you finally get some snow on the ground, then it's like bright for a while. Again, you know, and it like cheers you back up in a ways. I feel like
Actually, that's the opposite for me. I don't really like. It probably is healthier when it brightens up, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
like
me
it
happier.
when it. I don't like it when it's bright and
Yeah, but
snowy.
you live like a dark. You're like a,
It's
you're
almost too
writing dark
bright.
poetry half the time or something. You need.
Maybe it's from growing up in the woods. It doesn't really get that sunny.
Mhm.
So when I go out in the open in the snow and it's sunny, it's just like,
I
It's
don't like the sunny sun. No, I'm not talking about sunny sun. I'm talking about at night, like after the sun goes down, how it's still bright outside.
Oh, okay.
See, like so it's a gentle
Yeah.
bright. It's like a soft light bulb.
Yeah,
at
that's
nighttime.
nice.
So
Yeah.
you can still see, and
Yeah.
it's not like it's pitch black. You're just more likely to go out. I feel like when it's like that.
Yeah.
But when it's bright and sunny and snowy, no, I do not like that. I don't think anybody likes that. That's snow blind. That'll kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something. That'll do something. Make you grow hair on your palms. Are you ready for this kamikaze? You're doing you're signed up and everything, Jason.
Yep.
Tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna do some kamikaze.
Oh, sweet, sweet
gonna
baby
be a hoot.
ribs. It was pretty sweet last time we did it. Did you notice how many people showed up all of a sudden out of the blue?
Yeah, so we get some people there, and hopefully,
pretty
you know,
cool.
we get some people tonight. It's, you know, it's winter.
Man,
so
it's a mixed bag.
it's people haven't quite got cabin fever yet. You know.
Did you hear about
Which
little
is the
Charlie's
thing.
extravaganza he just had?
No, what happened, Charlie?
OTP at the Old Town Playhouse.
Oh yeah, how'd that go? Was that a hoot?
That was awesome.
Awesome.
There's
exciting.
Like 1,500 people there. He had like a little groupie row where he's signing.
Oh, that's
titties and
nice.
shit. You're
Yeah.
signing some titties, Charlie.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hit
Always.
the moan when I say that. I'm signing titties. No, this one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I see. I say signing titties, and then you go.
yeah.
See, that goes with signing titties. The oh yeah, I guess that kind of does too. Good choice, Charlie. I was overthinking that.
Yeah.
Girls don't moan.
It was
when you
fun.
sign Your titties. They celebrate and say, "Oh yeah."
A full theater
Oh,
is
yeah.
crazy.
Did you see
That's
the
good.
kilt thing I tagged you in?
No.
I seen it. They had a little meme, and they said that they had a couple little kids running around with swords and kilts on, and they said any kids left unattended will be given a sword and a kilt. And it just had a picture of kids, and it's not a very funny meme, but I said, you know, that was probably how Jason Allen was created.
Yeah, I have a kilt.
Yeah. I thought maybe when you were a little kid, you was wandering around some British castle, and they gave you a kilt and a sword.
No, that's all propaganda. I didn't get a kilt till I was well into my 20s.
Oh, that's a late kilt.
Yeah.
Ever been to a castle? Either of you?
No, I want to. I'd love
That'd
to.
be
That's
cool.
on my bucket list, or fucket list, I call it.
I went to Marquette up in the UP. It's a giant prison up there. It looks exactly, I'm not even making it up, looks like Castle Grayskull.
No.
The old school Castle Grayskull with like the slime pit and the big round, you know, gun towers, or not gun towers, but them round built in, whatever you call them, bullocks or whatever.
No, I'd love to have sex in a castle,
Be cool to go to the Monty
That's-
Python
but
castle.
not that
Majestic.
kind of castle.
That's
not like sex in the jail castle.
Be
That
cool
was
to go to the
different kind of
castle
sex.
from Monty Python.
Do it, yeah.
You know, with
Yeah.
the
That would be a nice castle. Any castle would be nice.
Is that a real castle?
Don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know how many.
They
castles
make
are
it
even
look
left.
like a real one.
You know, there is a
If
show.
it
I've
is
caught
one.
1 or 2 episodes on HGTV, and I haven't watched them. I've just seen they were on, and it was like castle hunters.
Oh.
They have one island hunters. You know, like house hunters, like people trying to buy a new house, and they'll go look at 3 new houses, and then they'll pick one, and do you want the blue one or the red one or the wolf one? And they'll pick one, and that's how it goes. And they have castle hunters where it's similar, and they'll go look at 3 or 4 castles and pick one, and then they have island hunters where if you want to buy a whole island, there you go, baby.
Wow, they got a lot of shows. It's too many shows.
That's why I flip through them with my ADD and just catch a little bit so I can know what the premise is. Like, I don't care about what you're doing. I don't care what castle she picks. Just knowing that show exists is my brain candy. So that's why I'm like if you watch me watch TV, you'd be like, I can't sit with this guy. He's being retarded. He watches 3 minutes of something. He's on to the next thing. He's got that on for 10 minutes, and he's 15 minutes of that.
We did watch
someone's
Joan
favorite
Rivers
show
special for about 20 minutes.
Have you watched Joan Rivers before?
Oh yeah, Joan Rivers is awesome. She's a legend, man.
I didn't realize she was a terrorist on the stage like that.
Oh yeah, she tore it up for
Killer.
years.
Oh, and not
Years.
just
And
funny,
she looked
she's
fucking dope
savage.
too. She
She's
looked
got that edge.
whole thing.
Yeah,
was
I used to think she didn't have the chops because she
I
was
did
on the
too.
E Entertainment channel, you know, and
She
she
had the
was
Joan
not.
Rivers show at the
Yeah,
daytime during
I
the day where
never
she
watched it,
brings
but I was
housewives
like,
out and stuff,
what a
yeah.
joke. But
That's
I
what
did
I
see her
thought.
stand up, and she kills,
Yeah,
man.
it's like,
Yeah,
how do you go
she's
from morning talk show host girl?
she's dirty too.
Oh, filthy animal, and like laser point good though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she does it with that little je ne sais quoi where you don't get mad at her if she talks about your mama.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that was smart. You know, that's good enough. She's crazy.
Yeah, I try to bring that up as much as possible on this
I
podcast.
feel like women might be scared to.
Joan Rivers.
Yeah, she's
This special.
She's kind of our little
but yeah.
motivator for the last
Oh,
2 or
that's
3
cool.
months since we watched it, I would say. It's weird how you get a thing like that and it's like your guru. For
A random thing.
Like, I'm
It's not
trying
really a
to do her
guru. I
jokes
just
or
like
something.
bringing it up too much.
Charlie just likes to mention that he finally
That
watched
we
something that was
watched
made before
Joan Rivers.
1995.
Have you ever watched that?
I watched a lot.
You know Roseanne?
I know you
You know, you guys watch Roseanne growing up?
Hell yeah, I did.
That's an awesome show.
I felt like Roseanne was
Roseanne
rich
Ri-
compared to me growing up and used to feel bad about that. Because people would be like, oh, Roseanne is a show about a poor single mom. And I'm looking at the shit they got, and I'm like, Roseanne's got it better than me, motherfucker.
Did you guys ever see her reality show?
Oh, I heard about
She
it.
had a
I
reality
I
show, and
remember.
she's in Hawaii, and she was growing nuts of some kind, and she was smoking weed, and
She's
just
growing nuts every day.
yeah. It was a fucking funny show,
I can
man.
imagine.
She has
Was
got
she
some
with Tom
chops.
Arnold still?
No, yeah, some new
She
guy.
left that
You know,
nut,
yo,
started
it
growing
was,
a pair of her
this
own.
was only like maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. It
She
was a while ago
growing
now,
nuts. That's hilarious.
but yeah, macadamia nuts or something like that, like legit.
That's funny.
She was
Those are the ones
episodes
that
where she's
have
on
the
like a
racial
bulldozer
slur
and
name,
she's
right?
tearing down trees. It was a hilarious show.
She was doing the physical
Let's check
work.
it out.
Yeah, she was knocking down trees in a bulldozer. She was farming, man.
That's funny how that goes. I seen Tom Selleck has an avocado ranch, and he said like he had to truck in millions of gallons of water from another state because they had a shortage in California,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't let him water his avocado trees. So I watched it on like Dave Letterman or something. He said he trucked in water for like months, and his avocados still died.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, apparently Zach Galifianakis has a farm too. And
Like a-
he
Like
lives
an
on a
alpaca
farm.
or something.
He
Like-
lives on a farm like in somewhere in the south, I
I
believe.
grow weed here, so that you're kind of on a podcast and a farm here.
Yeah.
So we got a miniature farm, little
Mini
private
farm.
Maybe I'll add mushrooms to it one day. It's weird how many people have them farms, isn't
I
it?
bet he's got a farm too, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done that DMT stuff? You ever?
Hell no, but I had a chance once and I passed it up and I feel like a butthole.
Yeah. Like I watched some stuff about Joe Rogan. He did. He talks about it all the time, but yeah, I did on one of those rabbit holes. You get on the YouTubes, you go down a rabbit hole talking about DMT.
Hell yeah.
Man, that stuff is fascinating.
I was looking at art a couple days ago that people paint while they're on the DMT to try to show you what they're seeing.
Is that on Vice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
It was pretty. See, Charlie's seen it too.
It's crazy how
saw
much
that.
we talk about Vice too.
Yeah, Vice
I
is
love
We're always
like the
talking about
best,
Vice,
best
and we've
channel
always
on
seen
TV right
Jesus,
now, right?
have you, like,
I don't
this
have
is
it anymore,
horrible.
but I
Have you
check it
seen
out
the
on YouTube.
donkey fucking of Colombia? on Vice?
No.
That's
It
the
is
best.
not porn or anything gross. Like they have a sex
Oh, it's pretty
therapist
close
and, like,
for a
kinda
few
is
minutes.
for a second or two, but it is a documentary, and it is true.
It's serious
It's
too.
very
There's
serious.
no
They have
jokes. That's
there's
the
a s-
funniest part.
Yeah, there's a sex therapist.
Just
involved.
ideas, the
Like
joke.
with people that have problems with having too
No, they
many
have-
sex with the
they
donkeys.
have no problem with it at all. In their
What?
culture, they go there, and you don't even expect it to be like this, and it hits you right away. But in this country, in Colombia, in the little area that they're in,
Yeah.
it is traditional and normal, and it's also believed that it enhances the size of your penis if you go bang donkeys when you first hit puberty, and then it just like takes off, and they like it, so that they still sneak and bang donkeys even when they're like adults and married.
That
So
is-
like
Yeah, and they're all
married couples, and the wife is like, "Oh, I know, maybe he sneaks off and gets a donkey, but," and then they interview the husband, and he's so vulgar, he's just like, "Yeah, maybe, but really, a donkey can't suck your dick," or something like that. And
And
just
it's
like,
so
weirdest thing
normal
I've
to
heard
then
all
they're
day.
interviewing
when they were
like some,
interviewing
like
them.
teenage boys. They got 2 of them, and they're like trying to like have a competition who banged the most donkeys, and like in their culture, it's super accepted.
Wow.
Like they go around and talk to it, and it's not Colombian culture necessarily. It's the coastline. There's a little country of Colombia, a little section where it's like pretty damn
That's
normal.
too much cocaine.
That's yeah.
Maybe too many
They need to
donkeys.
slow
There's
down
a
the
lot of
cocaine and the
donkeys.
donkeys.
But the hook of the whole show, and I'm gonna spoil it for everyone because they're probably not gonna watch it anyhow. But the hook, it's got like a twist at the end, like a
Yeah.
what's that guy's name that does all the movies that does the twist?
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan Ding-a-Long. It's got a Shyamalan Ding-a-Long twist
M.
at the
Night
end.
Shyamalan.
Yep, little shamming everyone guy. That's got a shammy twist at the end, and here's what it is. They're getting driven around by this taxi driver, right? And they're like going and doing all this investigation about donkey fucking. Well, about 2/3 through the thing, this taxi driver, he doesn't speak the English, but he starts to realize what they're interviewing people about. And he like talks to them, and they like pull over just in a random corner of the thing, and they're just talking. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys were doing a thing about the donkeys."
Right.
He's like, "I bang donkeys all the time." And he explains how once in a while he can't help himself, and there's like city donkeys where a lot of people bang them. He's like, "I even once in a while sneak and hit a city donkey I know people don't wear condoms for." And it's
Jesus.
like, that's a weird ass thing
They
to
have
say, dude.
prostitute donkeys?
Yep, and then he makes the offer to the filmmakers. The dude offers to him, he's like, "If you want, there's like a donkey not far from here. You could get a couple little minutes of footage." Like, he offers it up. They don't ask him. They're not like, "Hey, want to show
Wow.
us?" He just does it on his own. They catch like a quick little clip of it. Thank God they don't show much of it. It'll really traumatize me more than it already did. And then
Makes you wonder what's up with this donkey vagina. Is this like
Must
a
be good.
spectacular vagina?
it must be. I almost
Looked
want-
huge,
I almost
even
did look
censored.
It
huge.
looked huge.
But the
Yeah,
guy
even
after
censored.
the guy got done and he's running away, that's not all that looked huge because they had to blur a lot of shit out. I'm like, "Do you got to blur his tennis shoes out too? Where the hell is this thing snapping around at?" He just runs away from the donkey and he goes over to a dirty, I'm not even making it up, a dirty pool of water. It looks like a puddle, and he just like squats down Indian style and just like kind of washes up with a few splashes,
Oh,
throws his
wow.
trousers back on and heads back and gets back in the little 1-car cab and drives him around for the rest of the documentary.
What's that smell, Jose? You been banging that donkey down the road again?
I mean, he was so
Damn
shameless. Like the amount of shamelessness he has, how normal it is to him, is insane.
Wow.
Like it literally is like an episode of Star Trek where they like go to an alien planet where weird shit is normal, and it's just like,
Well, I mean, I wonder what the rape percentage is there.
That's
It's
a good
probably like
question. Maybe
no
it's lower,
rapes.
you
It's
know?
just like
Just
Get that-
donkey rapes,
just
though, because I
poured
don't think
out
the
donkeys.
donkeys
yeah,
you
well,
know?
and I guess in the animal kingdom, like I said, with cats, it's all good. I
donkey
don't know.
whore farms everywhere.
Man, I just hope no.
Man.
Maybe that's how Donald Trump was created. Now that I'm thinking about it, I hope that there's no baby that falls out though. That'd be terrible. Something just takes one day. You never know. You keep planting a seed in the sand, it might grow one day.
Evolution's a bitch, man.
It really is. Did you
Donkey
want to hear a really
people.
weird evolutionary fact, man? I'm gonna blow your fucking mind right now.
Oh shit, I'm sitting down. So
All right, here it comes. Axolotls are these weird underwater mud puppy looking things that have like coral reef looking fins on top of their head that they breathe water out of, right?
Oh, okay.
Now they live their whole life not pretty much, but they live their whole life as axolotls. They live underwater, they never come out of the water, and that's the
They
end of
look
the
like
story.
aliens,
They do
little
look like
aliens.
aliens. My
Yeah.
daughter has a couple of his pets. Well, anyhow,
Whoa.
they never come out of the water. Okay, never.
Okay.
Now there's another thing called a spotted salamander. Okay, now the spotted salamander has a life cycle where it grows and it goes into an egg and larval and it turns into a tadpole thing and comes out of the
Sure.
water. And when it comes out of the water, it's a little newt and then it turns into a salamander and it's a
Right.
spotted salamander. Okay, so now that salamander has a life cycle that turns it into a spotted salamander. If you take one of those axolotls and inject it with a little bit of iodine, it will turn into a spotted salamander and need to come out of the water and live on land, and it will look and have the same DNA as a spotted salamander. But spotted
Whoa.
salamanders don't come from axolotls, but you can turn one into a spotted salamander by injecting it with iodine, and I'm not making that shit up because it's way too complex to invent.
That's pretty crazy.
Fuck,
I used
yes,
to
it
catch
was.
spotted salamanders,
And
so I
when
used to have reverse axolotls as pets.
You'd suck the iodine out of them, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you catch them.
Yeah.
We used to catch them in the woods. There's tons of them.
Sucking the dye out of them. I'm so mean to Charlie. See how I abuse Charlie once in a while? I'm so mean.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'll stroke your long hair later. But isn't that freaky? You know, when I heard
That's
that
crazy. I
little thing,
never heard that.
it was a little
That's
piece of the
awesome.
Science Channel thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? Now when people say, where are, if we came from monkeys, why is there still monkeys? Right there, baby. That's why. Because there's
Yeah.
still axolotls.
You just put a little iodine in a monkey.
Exactly,
and-
because like the axolotl probably evolved
into
into
us.
the spotted salamander, but
Right.
still there's axolotls in the world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can turn one into it because he must have the DNA to be a spotted salamander.
I was just watching Planet Earth on the Netflix machine, you know?
Oh, I love that.
And what is it, Madagascar? What are the monkeys that are in Madagascar?
Oh, yeah, the bulbous nose ones with the big nose.
Yeah, no. I mean, they were little
the
monkeys.
They look
The
like
lemurs?
kind of.
Lemurs, yeah.
I
They're
like
not even
those.
monkeys, they're lemurs.
They're smart, aren't they?
They're like monkeys, though.
They get you
right?
excited, don't they?
But
They're so
yeah,
smart
they're
and
like
cool.
how that island's not that big, but how many different kinds of lemurs there are.
Oh, yep. Isn't that weird? In each little section of the
Yeah.
island. Yep. It's been a long time since I've seen stuff about
And
lemurs.
it's just kind of like a small little planet Earth. They just like, they got
but tribalism and
these
shit.
kind of lemurs over here. They got this kind over there.
It's proof racism is real. They don't intermingle with the other lemurs, do they?
I guess
They
not.
probably got spotted lemur fountains and striped lemur
And
fountains.
they look different. They act different. They had to do different things to survive. You know, there was a part of the island that was like all like thorn trees and stuff. Like, and
So they
they,
had to have like thick paws or something.
yeah, they have to maneuver and like dodge the thorns and like.
And
it's
people
crazy.
still deny evolution when there's things like that all over.
Yeah,
the
maybe
Yeah.
they'll evolve like almost into humans and start having like cars and stuff.
Really, I'm hoping they evolve into a 6-foot person one day myself.
I think humanoid
I don't think that would be
lemurs are
good.
probably safer than humanoid monkeys because monkeys are strong.
They are. Monkeys are.
I
rip your
wouldn't
face
want
and
to.
nuts off
Yeah,
strong.
I wouldn't want to mess with a pissed off monkey.
6-foot untamed animal though. I don't know.
I mean, we
I
got
don't know
those
with
here
any-
too.
Go to the truck
Any
stop and you
animal.
can find one of them in the back.
Yeah, I guess.
Ready to rumble. He's got 4 lines of meth in him.
Yeah.
Cherry magazine in his back pocket, and he wants to.
Seems
know
like
your
there's a
number.
different kind of strength with an animal though.
There really
But
is.
there is.
Yeah. Well,
There
their
is-
I got
muscles
attacked
are
by my
so
cat.
dense.
I
or
got attacked
something.
by my tiny cat,
Yeah.
and he won. I
Yeah.
mean, he's got claws too and shit, but I couldn't kill him. He's my buddy. So,
Vicious.
He was vicious. I've never been attacked by any other animal besides that. I don't think. Have you ever been animal attacked, bit or nothing?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was super into Rambo. You know, First Blood Part 2.
No, I love.
And,
is that the one where he gets the bullet wound and he puts the gunpowder in? it and
Yep,
lights it?
that's
God
the one.
Damn, that gets
It's
you
classic.
so hard when you're a little kid.
You know?
You want to travel around with gunpowder just in case you get a wound. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Anyway, I had one of those machine gun toys, you know, that went da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and behind my house was my best friend, and next to his house was my great grandparents. So I was running across the yard one day with my gun, all Ramboing it up, da 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 da, and they had a pit bull. He was like a junkyard dog, and he had 2 chains on him. And here comes little Ginger Jason.
2 chains.
Yeah.
Like I seen
Come
Charlie
up,
was you
yeah.
triggered Charlie. He wanted
knew
to
that.
say it.
I
I'm
knew
like,
you
no,
were
I
gonna
gotta
say
say
it.
it for him.
I'll give it to
Anyway,
But
you.
I
keep
had
going.
him so riled up that he broke both those chains and tackled me, and like ripped my arm almost off. Like
Man.
Oh,
got
shit.
my shoulder, and like he grabbed a hold of my arm and wouldn't let go. You know. And luckily, my great grandfather was in the backyard, and he came over with a shovel and beat the dog off of me. Otherwise, that dog would have killed me. Like he was ripping me apart.
You take the me part out of that, and you could do it as a joke on stage. You could say he came over and beat the dog off. You're like, I can't believe the dog accepted a hand job to quit biting me, but it was
I mean,
fair trade.
I'm always an accident-prone kid. Like I had a lot of stupid shit happen to
It's
me.
funny, we should have a scar off like they had on. Remember that? What was that movie where the cop? It was a Die Hard movie or something. Remember the cop and the girl cop? They were comparing scars and then they ended up banging at the end. Did you ever see that scene? It's like a Die Hard or a Bruce Willis movie or some shit. Lethal Weapon, that's what it was.
Oh yeah.
You ever watch Lethal Weapon?
Oh yeah.
They start the girl cop and guy cop start comparing scars, and then it gets all intense and they're kissing and then they bang. And that's one of the weirdest bang scenes I've ever seen because of the fact that it starts with scar comparison. I don't think that when me and you compare scars, it's going to go anywhere. Like, I got a couple you aren't
Oh,
even
I'm
going
gonna
to see.
win. For
No,
sure.
no, I meant we're not going to bang.
Oh,
in the
okay.
end.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
That's
I
good.
only have a
I
few.
got a lot of scars.
I do too. See, this one here is from a dog. I wanted to show you. Look at that on my elbow, that big
Oh,
long
yeah.
scar. What happened? And it ran all the way up to my right there. But what happened is I wasn't attacked by a dog. I had a dog, and I was too little. I was a puny little kid, and I was walking him. And another dog started like barking, and you know how dogs race up and down the fence?
Right.
Well, he wanted to race the fence, and he started to run, and I had the leash around my wrist and was holding it, and I was too little, and he just took me on a ride and drug me over some broken glass and like
Oh,
laid me
man.
open.
Nice.
So it wasn't a dog attack, but I guess I was kind of hurt by that animal.
Dog's fault.
I had forgotten about that.
Anyway, yeah, that all happened. I had to go get a bunch of stitches, and all that stuff. And I was fine with it. I've always been pretty good at handling pain. Maybe it's the ginger in me. I don't know. But they felt so bad they got me a Rambo lunchbox with a Rambo thermos.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That was like the greatest gift I've ever gotten in my whole
They
life.
bought you out. That's nice.
They did, and I was like, I would do this again.
To give it by yeah, it's worth it.
I still have that
Give me the matching
lunchbox.
thermos, and he can go after the nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
That is nice. That's a nice
It's
thing.
got a
to
happy
watch.
Yeah.
ending. Yeah,
That's a happy ending.
Good deal.
yeah.
My older cousin that I like admired when I was a kid smashed my radio because it ate his Judas Priest tape. He told me finally one day. He had lied to me about it before and told me it fell off his bike. Later in life, he's like, he was doing the AA thing where you're supposed to like apologize to everyone and shit like that, which is super awkward for the people you're apologizing
Yeah,
to. Just so
yeah.
you know, maybe skip that step, people. It's fucking weird. It was weird. He's apologizing to me for shit. I was like, I don't want to know this shit. You stole $12 from me when I was 15. I don't want to know that shit. I want to like still look up to you.
Yeah.
Like, keep it. Just
You're
quit
just
drinking.
pissing me
Play.
off for no reason.
Yeah, just like you're cleaning your soul on my. I wanted to still love you, man. You made me mad. No, I still do love him, but seriously.
12-step programs are a bitch.
But he broke my radio, which isn't a big deal. It was just a tape player boombox. But back in the '90s, that was the shit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't care. But he's like, he felt so guilty about it. That's where my first Nintendo came from. He went and bought me and they were
Nice.
$100 even. I remember I just wanted one for most of my life. It seemed like, and I finally got one. My first Nintendo was a guilt Nintendo.
I
See how
don't-
stories beget stories? It's like comparing scars. It's
Right.
Like, you made me think of some shit.
See, that Rainbow Lunchbox was such a big deal that the same family, the same house, they had a kid with Down syndrome who was way older than me.
Was it a
And,
girl or a guy?
It was a guy. His name was Jason, just like mine, I think. And
he was
actually,
way more down than you, though.
yeah, he was a nice kid and all, but he dropped a window on my head on accident, and like cut my head wide open, man. I had to get a bunch of stitches for that, and I got a gift for that or something too, like a keep your mouth shut kid.
There's a weird
Kind of thing,
kinda
but it
irony
was
when-
not nearly as cool, and I don't even remember what that gift was.
When someone that has Down syndrome drops something on you, I just feel like there's a weird irony there, almost like it dropped down on you or something.
Right.
Dropped down on you. It would be really ironic if it made you retarded and you guys became best friends.
Well, we were
That might be
friends.
the
I mean,
meanest thing I've ever said on the show. That's mean. He's trying to make himself a new best friend. He's like, maybe if I club a mug, we'll be in the same IQ pool and we can just no. He's not.
no,
smart
I mean,
enough to think of that
I
idea.
love.
That's
I'm
fucking
down with
stupid.
the downs. I love kids
He's
with
not
Down
smart enough to
syndrome.
think of that idea. I just keep getting meaner. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm picking on your Dow friend from Cheshire. I'm not really doing it. Just can't stop. What the fuck? Oy. I'm sorry you had to drive so bad to get here, Jason. I'm fucking glad you came. This is fun when we have three people sometimes.
Yeah.
And see how much
Well,
better
I was
this
in
is?
town anyway, and yeah, it's fun being on me and Sharpens Man. You know.
Yeah. You should start a podcast one of these days, Jason. You would love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll just do your guys's,
I would
mess
do-
yours up, and then.
You don't mess it up. You inspire us.
Oh, that's good.
I thought of 7
I would probably
stories
talk
today
about
because
some
of you.
weird stuff, man. I would.
I know you're into the weird stuff. I pulled my own front teeth out once. That's pretty weird. Pulled like 3 of my front teeth out. The 2 top ones and 1 off the bottom.
Just because you were on meth or something?
No,
I mean,
because I've always been this stupid, but it was amplified when I was young, so it seemed like I was way stupider. Because
Right.
youth times stupid equals way stupider or something.
you figured out the tooth fairy, and it was like, I'm banking on this.
Like, that's what made me cry when they fell out, is I couldn't find them, and I thought I wasn't going to get the money for them, because when they popped out, they flew off into the dust and dirt, because it was in Texas, and it's all dry and dusty and sandy, and I couldn't find them in the loose sand. But what I
Wow.
was doing, because I thought I was some kind of ninja, or maybe I'd watched too much Rambo too, I had thrown a rope over the lowest branch of this tree that I couldn't climb in my backyard, and as, poor kid without internet, we didn't have
Yeah.
that shit when we were growing up. What are you going to do all day? So I'm trying to climb the last the tree in the yard that I haven't climbed, because the lowest branch I can't get to. So I throw a rope over it, tie the rope to 2 of my belt loops. Not around my waist, mind you. To 2 of my belt loops.
Right.
And then I decide I'm going to throw it's already over the limb. I'm going to pull the other side of the rope like they do on cartoons, and they hoist themselves up. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
They
yeah.
hoist themselves right up, and in the cartoons, boom, they're at the top, you know? And to me, I'm not dropping an anvil on someone's head. I'm not a fucking retard, but this has got to work, right? You know, so I do it. I'm trying to pull myself up the fucking thing, and I'm literally, like, it's so embarrassing. Like, I could have just, like, stretched my feet and touched the ground pretty much, but my toes are off the ground from, like, 4 hard pulls, and I'm out of wind. I'm done for a second. I know I got to take a break, but I think, you know, I got myself a little bit up off the ground. This is going to work, right? So I take the rope because I need to rest my arms because they're burning, my little kid arms, and I hold the rope in my mouth and let myself hang. So now the rope is in my mouth going up over the tree and tied to 2 of my belt loops, and I'm holding myself up all that weight, and I got the rope in my front teeth. And then all of a sudden one of my belt loops breaks, and I drop like 1 inch, and whop, and out comes 3 of my front teeth. And I hit the dirt, and blood was everywhere, and I was crying. My mom was terrified. She thought someone attacked me or something because I couldn't talk.
Hey.
With the tears and shit.
Oh,
and then I
man.
told her, she was mad at me. That's what kind of mom I got. She wasn't like real mad. She got over it quick. But when she realized that I was crying because I didn't think I was getting money from the tooth fairy, and it wasn't like a pain issue or anything like that,
Right.
then she was pretty mad at me.
You guys listening to one of my favorite viral videos, maybe you've seen this, is that Asian kid, and he puts the corn cob on like a drill, and he like turns it on, and it's spinning so fast, he puts it up to his teeth, and it just yanks his 2 front teeth out.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
not seen that one.
I have seen that.
That's
yeah.
one of the funniest
That
videos
would
I've
be
ever
funny.
seen in
I
my
have not
life.
seen that one. I felt like that was
man.
going to the one that I've seen. The one that I've seen is a girl trying to do a corn with a drill, and her hair gets in it, and it rips a bald patch. Like, she looks like me all of a sudden.
Oh man,
with
that'd
like
be
a
funny too.
pink,
But
meaty bald patch.
oh, ouch.
That's why this studio is still young, but pretty soon we're going to have some intranet. We're going to have a little screen there so we can look a video up. Like, we got to be careful with sounds and stuff.
Definitely.
We got to be, you know, I mean, we get copyright issues. You try to post this thing on YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's
there's
got
you don't want to do that,
copyright
but
issues.
definitely look up on the YouTubes the corn on the cob, front tooth missing or something like
Yeah,
that. You know.
corn on
And the
cob
Man
drill
Sharpen
bits.
Man's podcast.
I think there's a few
Yeah,
of
Yeah,
them
look
because
up
you've seen the
Man
tooth.
Sharpens Man podcast.
Exactly. Man
Man Sharpens Man's podcast.
Not always man sharpens man. Sometimes man doesn't sharpen man. But it's good when it does. That's what, like, us telling stories. And see what I'm saying? That's what the man sharpens man is.
Yeah.
It's like when I was in prison, I used to have this crazy motherfucker named Cooper that would always run and just, like, punch me or slap me in the nuts. And, like, he was super fast and super strong. He was never really trying to pick a fight. He was just being an asshole.
Yeah.
And when he hit me, he would always yell, man sharpens man, and he'd run off. So that's one of the reasons I call it man sharpens man. Like, that was his... I don't know what the fuck
Oh,
was
a
wrong
little
with him.
inside story.
The guy was a
Learning a
psycho.
couple things about John today. He's
Listen to this guy. He's a
from
psycho,
Texas.
Jason. Let me tell you about this guy in prison, this motherfucker. This will be my prison story for the day. Cooper, like, not only was he a weird guru in a way, I didn't realize it till later. Jenny told me, she's like, that was your guru. I was like, I might have been, actually. I hated
Yeah.
him, though.
yeah.
But, yeah, I got the name from him, but I did hate him. But he did the weirdest shit. Like, I'd always see him do weird shit, and I'd ask him why he did it, and he finally would tell me stuff. But you know what he used to do? He'd go to his chow hall, and, like, you get 4 or 5 different things. It's like a dinner, you know, you got corn and meat and
Yeah.
peas and shit and bread. He would take each food item and, like, literally take a small bit of it, and then he'd clean out one of the, like, little areas because it's like a sectioned off tray, and he'd put a little piece of each of the food bits in that part of the tray, okay? And, like, then he'd eat the food, and then he'd go throw the tray away at the end, and he'd always have that little pile of, like, he'd have a little bit of Jell-O, a couple pieces of corn, a piece of bread, one of the chicken wings or whatever. Like, he'd put a little bit of every piece of the meal into that little area, and then he'd eat and he'd throw it away. And I thought, he probably will kill me if I ask him about it. So I waited. But after he did it a while, I asked him one day, I said, why do you do that? And he said it was his tithe. What the fuck? That's not tithe. Like, I don't know where the hell like a Bible thing, like giving 10%. He was giving 10% of his food to the trash and thought it was some kind of religious offering. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the guy was a freak, definitely. So, I mean,
At least he had Jesus in
I
his
just wanted
life.
to frame him. Jesus in a weird way. He probably was looking at his picture with some kind of lust in his eyes or something. The way Charlie looks at me on lonely Wednesday nights when we're playing solitaire. What's
Yeah.
your song of the day, too? Song of the day. Whoop, whoop. No, I'm not going to do it.
Second song of the day.
I tried to sing earlier. It was terrifying. I already kind of told you about that, but what the... Like I have a whole new. You know when you do
You know,
something.
when you sing in the shower or when you masturbate. You know, I mean,
I do, but I don't. It's different in the shower. I don't know why. It sounds better. Or I just feel like you're supposed to sound like shit and sing in the shower. I don't do it that
Yeah.
much. But today, trying to sing the little intro thing that I was doing for this, terrifying.
oh,
No one was even around me. But I
jeez.
felt like I was wearing a wig. It felt so phony. It just felt fake.
Since it's Man Sharpens Man, to add a little music theory, you could make the intro sharp rather than flat.
See how smart Charlie is?
I don't even know what that means, but
He's
yeah, I
a theater
agree.
kid. He knows about band stuff. I think it's
Sharp
a
and
note.
flat.
Yeah, there's sharp notes and flat notes, I think. Isn't that right,
Sharp's
Charlie?
too high, basically, and flat is too low, basically.
So sharp
Like,
as every good
this
boy deserves
This is
fudge.
flat.
So I'd be
This is
sharp
flat.
right
This
now.
high.
Because I'm way too high.
Way too
No,
high.
I'm
You
kidding.
really do music.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm
When I was
writing that one
playing-
down.
It's funny when I play video games with my nephew, he says stuff and I want to hit him with the adult comedy and I got to hold it in all the time and just hit him with the little kid jokes.
Right.
We were playing that Terraria game I was telling you about earlier, and my little character had wings so I could fly way up in the air. And he kept yelling, he's like, Uncle John, you're way too high. And of course, I'd smoked a joint right before we started playing the game and shit, and I'm thinking, you don't even know. Like, I wanted to say that almost, but you don't say it to your 11-year-old nephew. You don't even know I'm way too high. Would have been funny. But then another thing, he could, like, teleport us and transform us into slimes, I guess. He's like, come on, Uncle John, we can be slimes together. I said, not until you turn 21 and we go to Las Vegas. I did hit it. I couldn't hold that one back. I did hit him with that one. I figured he wouldn't be able to understand what the hell I was talking about. Once we're 21, kid. When you're 21, we'll go to Vegas and both be slimes.
What does that even specifically mean? I don't
Means
know
we'll go
that.
there and gamble and
Be slimy?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be
So
slimy.
nothing
We'll do
specific.
Vegas
Okay.
stuff, Charlie.
Then I do
I'm
understand.
gonna take you to Vegas and be slimy first, though, to learn to be slimy. We'll go practice slime run. You ever been to Vegas, anybody?
Nope.
Me neither.
No.
Did you
Not
know
that
they
I know
offer
of.
one-way tickets there
No.
for free? That's. I guess I should have said
For
for free.
free.
Like that's a retarded thing. Did you know they offer one-way tickets there? Yeah, they fucking offer one-way tickets everywhere. You fucking retard. No, they offer them for free. I guess is what I wanted to tell you.
I never heard that.
Isn't that weird?
Can't you just do that and then just pay for a flight out of town?
Yeah, that's what they want you to do though, because they're gonna scalp you while you're in town.
Right.
The tickets that are free, you find them at casino websites and stuff like that. You don't have
Oh,
to even
yeah.
come gamble there, but you know the name and they put you. You know you're close. So
I got you. That's
So
smart.
they make their money back a lot of times. It's weird. I only know that because a friend of mine just every year pretty much tries to bait me into going to prison again. He's an old prison buddy, and every year he calls me and he's like, "Come on, we can get free tickets to Las Vegas." There's all kinds of.
So we should do
hookers
to
and
get more
shit.
people at these open mics, you know, hand out tickets for free,
Mm-hmm. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Make
I mean,
them feel like
even-
they're getting a prize.
even
almost.
though they're free anyway.
It'd be easier in the spring and summer where we go like put them under windshield wipers and shit like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
We do that for the podcast, too. Give people tickets to
Ooh.
watch it.
I want to do a live one of these soon. I don't know if you're interested, Jason. I know Charlie ain't scared. I would like to set up. Maybe we'll talk to the owner of that dish place and be like, "Hey, baby,
That'd be fun.
what do you
Yeah.
think about me and Charlie doing a live podcast here? We'll keep it half clean. Like I don't swear that much on the podcast.
That'd be fun. It could be before, like, that mic going on there.
Yeah.
That we're unfortunately not going to be able to make it.
Because
Because we're going to Shakespeare's, right?
Shakespeare.
What's going on?
Shakespeare.
On the 4th.
Oh
On the
yeah.
4th. Catch us there.
Yeah.
Shakespeare is what happens after you pee.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get that last trip off. You got to Shakespeare.
It's Thursday, right?
Shakespeare this Thursday.
That'll be fun.
Be fun as not having fleas.
I don't know.
Shakespeare is fun, yeah.
I've never. Is it the same upstairs thing or is it different? It's the same.
Lower
people,
level.
isn't it?
Same place. So.
Oh, they do it in the bottom of the bar instead of the
No,
top?
no, same town, I
Oh,
mean.
okay.
But, so everybody basically knows each other. It's ran by a different person. It's ran by Bob Fredericks. He's been up here a couple times.
Doing the old
He's really
comedy,
funny. Yeah.
Comedy shtick.
Yeah. You'll recognize him once you see him.
I'm sure I'm a Facebook friend of him. So
Probably, yeah.
Facebook is such a weird entity too. I mean, I do like it, but it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
thing.
it's weird.
Fucking weird. Friending people you don't really know and like the whole following
Yeah.
and friending. It just seems creepy. Seems creepy following people. Just
Yeah.
even the terms are very stalkery. I'm following you. Jason Allen, I started following you. I seen you eat out of the trash can.
Again.
I know what you do.
Poke. That's really weird. Poking.
Poking?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
when you
That's
poke
a weird
someone,
word, I just
that's
realized.
super weird. What if you walked up to someone in a cafe and gave them a poke? Hey,
Yeah.
baby. That don't work.
I poked
That's
you.
definitely Zuckerberg's work.
It is. He's a
It's an
dork where
awkward
he went up
dude.
to
He
his little
looks like
friends
a
and let me
poker.
give you a poke, buddy. Zuckerberg. He didn't stop being a nerd and a weirdo either. He got all that money and he's staying true to
awesome.
the game.
Yeah.
He's terrible. I don't know. I'm just saying. Zuckerberg's terrible. He could be great.
Yeah, he seems all right. I don't know.
I'm MySpace friends with him, so I don't really know. He's on my MySpace account, so I don't know what that is.
I miss MySpace. Remember how you used to like be able to customize your profiles on there? I used to have songs on there and stuff.
Oh yeah, taught you a little.
We were just
programming,
talking
coding.
yesterday about MySpace, so there's a few people that got famous from that
Yeah.
in different facets of entertainment.
It
Heck
just
yeah.
seemed like a way cooler than Facebook, but Facebook's definitely the one true.
Some of them are pretty censored. Facebook is the one where it's not censored very much, but it's censored too. Instagram is. Twitter isn't censored, I found out. I'm not looking for porn, but you could take a picture of your boobs and put it on Twitter and they don't ban you. Try that on Facebook, you're done. They don't ban you, I don't know what they do. They let me have my boobs on there because they're man boobs and we have double standards still.
Yeah.
Because there's a Pyrex ceiling or whatever. Can't show their boobs through the Pyrex ceiling. Cellutech or something? I don't remember. I'll remember before the next show.
Yeah.
I swear to you listeners, by the next show, I'll know what that stuff is. Alright, I'm going to tell you guys the joke of the week and we're going to get out of here. Here is the... You guys have probably already heard this is a terrible joke, but it's the only one I could think of while I was just trying to think of it a second ago. There's that Indian. He goes to the chief of the village and he says, Chief, I hear it's your honor to name every newborn child in this tribe. And the chief said, Brave warrior, you've heard correct.
Yeah.
You've heard correct, my warrior. He's like, why do you come? He says, well, he says, I just wanted to ask you how you come up with those names. I don't know. He's like, how do you come up with your Indian names? He says, well, what happens, my son, is he says, I wait till the moment the baby is breached out of the womb and comes out, and I throw open the flaps of my teepee, and I look outside, and the first thing I see is what I name the baby, whether it be running water, or blue sky, or dancing eagle. It's the first thing I see, I name the child. He says, why do you think you have such a curiosity in this, my son, two bears fucking? His Indian name is Two
Nice.
Bears Fucking. Oh, yeah, it's almost racist to know Indian jokes. Like, I know, I'm going to tell you one more Indian joke. So, like, once I start telling jokes, it's like stories. It's like, okay, here's another one. Like, I used to get told so many jokes in my life that I
Yeah.
just have, like, a never-ending bank of shitty old jokes. But let me tell you one more. So, the show is complete, and then we got to get out of here. All right, here it is. This is the worst one. Because we were talking about rape culture. I want to wrap up with this terrible rape joke. Here it is. And it's an Indian joke, too, so it's almost even worse. There's an old trader, and that's why I'm telling these jokes, is to tell people they're wrong. This one isn't maybe wrong. Judge this one. Tell me how wrong this one is.
Okay.
We'll put it on the
I'll be the
racist
judge.
meter and sexist meter. Okay, here we go. There is a trader, fur trader. He's up in the woods. He's fur trade. He's got to stay up there for like years at a time, like a year, and trap the whole year. So he's alone the whole year. Well, the year is over, and he's headed down the mountain, and he's got his donkey and his little wagon, and he's headed down the little trail back to town because now it's time to sell the 1,000 pelts he has, and
Right.
get 2 cents or whatever it was back then, a couple pieces of bread. So he's headed down the hill to do it, and to sell his pelts, and he sees a beautiful Indian squaw walking on the side of the road. That's what they used to call them, the squaws. Ask Jason Allen, he can tell you.
Yeah.
But anyhow, he sees a beautiful squaw walking, and he offers her a ride in the little cart, and she jumps up in there, and they're riding along, and they start making eyes at each other, googly eyes a little bit, and all of a sudden they get to necking. They're necking and they're making out and everything, and well, the next thing you know, the clothes start coming off, and he rounds third base, and he knows he's coming in hot, so he goes ahead and he just starts going to town. Well, she's getting really, kind of rough and yelling pretty loud, and she's just yelling, poo-wah, poo-wah. She's just yelling the whole time he's going at it, just poo-wah. She's yelling the whole time, just hollering, and he gets done, and, everything's okay, and they put their clothes on, and, the love and feeling is gone, so they don't really pay attention to each other. The rest ride into town, and they get into town and go separate ways. Well, he goes into the general merchandise store to sell his pelts, and there's a couple older male Indians in there shooting a game of pool.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, out of the blue, one of them yells, "Poo-wah!" And he thinks, "Oh, what the hell's going on? I'm gonna go ask him what he said."
Yeah.
So he walks right over there and he says, "Excuse me, sir, you just yelled poo-wah. Do you speak English?" And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, can you tell me what poo-wah means?" And the Indian says, "Poo-wah means wrong hole." Charlie knew that was coming. He was looking over at me like, "It's a wrong hole joke." All right, let's not get this one in the wrong hole. I got to get off here. We got to get ready for the show. All right, Jason Allen, thank you for doing our show, man.
Woo!
Woo! Get to kamikaze tonight.
Yeah.
Say bye, Charlie.
See ya.
Peace, pot, and microdot, motherfucker.